We are moving into the time where crypto money management will be a fundamental pillar in your investment portfolio. Grow with certainty. Xago. Innovative money movement.
Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and that short intro is a company exchange in South Africa. They're independent builders on the XRP ledger. Yes, they use XRP to move, as a bridge, money around the world. And yesterday, they announced 6 new digital currencies. Just listen to how fast they are in and out of XRP to move that money across borders.
Have you adopted all the currencies? What are your main currencies?
Are fine. Fiat currencies are fine. We use mainly XRP, Ripple XRP.
Ripple, yeah.
But we do it for a good reason. It's very quick. And the cost of transacting is quite low, or very low. So typically we're only in crypto for 7 seconds. That's it.
7 seconds.
7 seconds. That's it. So we're in and out. So you put your rand in, and your pounds out, and it's gone from rands to XRP, XRP to...
Wow. I look back fondly when I had them on the channel a few months ago. Short the FOMO, who is on the platform X, posted a link to their transfers yesterday. You can see they're moving euros and the South African rand, the Australian dollar, the US dollar, and even Swiss francs. The good size amounts on a couple of those transactions on this page alone are over 200,000 in their respective currency. In this video, we're going to look at what Ripple is doing. They're starting to acquire money transfer licenses in each state in the United States. What are they doing? Well, we have a payment expert who explains. Also, having a look at the market, it has been moving pretty much sideways. You can see there is one particular token, that would be Ecomi, who is standing out among the crowd. This is a token that is part of the digital collectibles NFT platform with the big brands like Marvel, Spider-Man, Star Trek, Lamborghini. Even recently, they added the Lion King. There's a big effort to stop Twitter revenue schemes. And this is where news is being packaged as breaking when actually they're taking articles from 2017 and 2018, as in the case here with the Western Union share. This recycled information looks amazing if you're new to the space. But the reality of this story is Western Union tested only 10 payments back in 2018. A person new to the space, probably would never have known this. You have to admit, catching these people is a true use case for investor protection. Yassim Mubarak, he is a little bit of a worrywart, I told him. There are 2 pivotal events coming to the XRP ledger. That is for sure. The first one is the Hooks fork, which will really determine the future development on the new ledger with the smart contracts functionality. And then the coming AMM amendment, which will bring liquidity pools to the XRP ledger and possibly some passive income. I agree that these 2 events will be future defining for XRP. What he worries about is, depending on how it goes, they could be a sign of real progress or a source of significant conflict and turmoil within the XRP community. Well, yes, there's been a lot of chatter, and it's mostly that I am listening to about Hooks. Now, Hooks is going to be its own new chain. It will have its own projects and its own ecosystem, essentially 100% independent from the mainnet XRPL. It will not rely on Ripple to build value, but rather on the projects that choose to utilize its powerful technology suite. The one-way burn to mint, or B2M as you'll see it abbreviated, is poised to completely change our current view of XRP. Jungle Inc., who got his channel back, had some thoughts on this very subject. Let me share just a little bit of that with you.
What is up, good people? Jungle Inc. here. Hope you're doing well. I've been hinting around for a while that there's a little bit of a divide within the XRP ecosystem. I've been dancing around the issue, trying to figure out how I would approach this, and I think now is a good time. For those of you that don't know, Wheatsy Wind, Richard, a lot of the different developers out there, they've been trying to introduce their vision for the XRP ledger. The hooks capability, light smart contracts. I think this is the way to proceed forward. Well, to date, hasn't happened. It's not on the main chain, and they're done waiting. So they are launching their own chain, the hooks chain. And essentially, the way this will work is you will burn your XRP and you will mint a new token over on this hooks chain where you'll have, the smart contract capability. And as of now, this would be a one-way trip. There's no way to come back. Now, it doesn't have to stay like that. And I think this is the vision. If successful, if this gains traction, if people are developing on it and using it, well, the main chain could have a very similar feature where you burn on the hooks chain and you mint XRP on the main chain. Now, that makes people nervous because depending on how you look at things, you're kind of printing new XRP. Now, as long as everything works right, you're not printing any new XRP because you're only replacing what you previously burned, but you can have errors and problems, and maybe someone prints a big stack of XRP. Like, there is some risk there, but I think the hope is here that, they gain traction, they gain a lot of users, build value, and somehow it'll leak up at some point in time. I think the building that they do over on this hook sidechain, some of these limitations will become apparent. We will see, maybe on a live and open network, doesn't really work for these use cases, but maybe new ones emerge or new functionality emerges that really is compelling, and that stuff can make its way over to the main chain. So I think we're going to get a lot of value here, even though personally, and look, I'm not a developer, I'm not some scientist here, I'm not a Nostradamus, I don't know how it'll play out for sure, but I don't think this sidechain is going to get any massive traction, but I think we're going to get a whole lot of value out of it. And I'll tell you this, as I look at the new proposed rules where they want to have DeFi applications register people and issue tax reporting, it's going to make it very tough out there to service the US market. But I think if you use a hybrid system, like you can with the XRP ledger, where you could have someone like GateHub or even Coinbase in the future, custody the assets, but issue those IOUs on the ledger for trading in a decentralized manner, like that might be a system in the US that could excel under these draconian laws. And you could go from a system where almost no one uses the decentralized exchange, where most people in the US might do so because it's the best legal, option out there. Like, there's a lot here that we can do without introducing, some crazy smart contract capabilities on here that's just going to slog down the system. Just my opinion. I can't wait to see what Wind and the crew build here. I fully encourage it. This is what people need to do. The naysayers will always say you can't do it. You have to have someone crazy enough to go out there and try. We'll see it develop. Totally support what they're doing. Just wanted to give you my opinion on how this plays out.
Now, that was just a sampling of the video that Jungle uploaded earlier today, and I'm going to put a link to it in the description below if you want to see it in its entirety. Jungle and I don't always agree, and we don't agree on this topic either. But I'll tell you one thing, I never miss any content that Jungle puts out. Okay, moving right along. The list of states Ripple has received money transfer licenses in. Very interesting. Still missing, however, some key states like California and New York. Faisal Khan, a premier payments expert, has a treasure trove of payments information. Here's a list of some of his clients. I met him a few years back when he was doing a lot of work with Stellar. And you can see, you would recognize a lot of these logos. He is a busy guy in the payment space. He has a breakdown of all the costs for each state and what it takes to get licensed. In some cases, it can take up to 2 years, and it is very expensive. He made a reply on my post and said that Ripple had to get those licenses because regardless of the status of the case, the fiat component, the on-ramp and off-ramp, which Ripple can play in a major role for issuance, etc., would come under the money transmission, and this is why they ended up getting their licenses this year. Faisal is a gem, and I think the attorney Arturo Portilla had an interesting comment. He said that with their recent acquisition of a portion of Bitstamp, he wouldn't be surprised if they were going to become stablecoin issuers. Well, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? I'm going to let a video take you out, and I did some clips that is more of a contrarian view when it comes to BRICS. Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of failure of the petrodollar headlines because that sells monetized views. But if you listen to this carefully, you might have a different perspective. Until next time, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.
The proposed expansion of BRICS has caused division among its key members. South Africa, Russia, and China wants to see the group grow, but India has expressed concerns that the bloc might devolve into an anti-Western platform. And for more on BRICS, we have with us Jim O'Neill, the economist who coined the term. He is currently senior advisor at Chatham House and joins us live from London. Jim, good morning to you. When you first came up with the acronym many years ago, in fact, it feels like a lifetime to me as a business reporter, I'm curious, would you have come up with the same grouping of countries today?
Well, I never proposed South Africa to be part of it. My proposal was based on really big, populated, rapidly growing and already reasonably large emerging economies, of which Brazil, Russia, India, and China were. South Africa was very fortunate to be invited to be part of it 15 years ago, but it doesn't really make a huge amount of sense other than the fact South Africa has some legacy of being a bit more developed and more Western in various aspects of its civil society, including the financial system. But ironically, and maybe reflective of that, since the political group came together, the economic importance of three of the members, South Africa itself, Brazil, and Russia, has reversed back to where it was when I created the acronym 22 years ago. And if it weren't for the I and the C, India and China, the two giants, I'm not sure what the BRICS would really represent, to be honest with you. And because of those two, the aggregate size of the group is huge, but without those two, it wouldn't be much at all. I think it is clear that each of the members really values the symbolic importance of the BRICS. But at the current time, as I'm sure you've discussed on your program before, India is being courted by the West. There was just a very formal official visit by Modi to the United States. And the UK, of course, is frequently trying to establish greater ties with India. And I think I read earlier today an unnamed Indian official saying the last thing they want the BRICS to become is an anti-Western group. And at the heart of the challenges the BRICS face in being effective is, again, when you really look at it realistically, India and China rarely agree on anything. And as I've said in a number of pieces I've written in recent weeks and indeed months in the build-up to this important meeting, if the BRICS really wanted to achieve things, China and India have got to somehow be a lot more serious about trying to do things together. Because if that happened, not only would it be much more important for the BRICS, but it would mean that the BRICS influence inside the G20 and inside other truly global governance organizations would rise. And it would all be really good for the world economy and world society, in my opinion. But just trying to expand to other countries for the sake of symbolically having a rival to the West, it doesn't really serve much purpose beyond this enormous symbolism, in my view. If each of the members, particularly China and India, had some objective guidelines as to what it was they were trying to achieve, and you can easily think of them, and indeed I've written extensively about them, whether it be climate change and pollution. These are the two fastest marginal polluters in the world because of their size. In terms of infectious disease prevention, the one thing the BRICS countries really do share is a worrying incidence of drug-resistant TB, and they could all easily do something on that. And of course, if they were really serious about trading more together, they could do that. Many times over the past 20 years, I've demonstrated pretty simply that if China and India had a deliberate policy to grow their trade significantly together, it would be so big, it would literally transform world trade. And then the rest of the world would have to not only listen to them more, but give them a lot more power and influence. But just by meeting once a year and saying all these grandiose things, including from some of them remarkable comments about trying to have a new BRICS currency, these things aren't really going to achieve much other than to make them feel good at the time of when they say those comments.